Everybody, Ken Gucci back here with you on the Dating Channel podcast. First of all, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving weekend. It was a beautiful weekend here for me where I live. We were supposed to get a little bit of snow and then we never did, but it still got pretty cold. But for everybody out there, I hope that you all enjoyed Thanksgiving. So, I've been hitting the social media trying to spread the word, trying to get this podcast up and going, and it looks like I've got a few people who are interested, so I'm going to keep rocking and rolling with this. In the meantime, what I would like to do is I would like to just start making some individual videos to kind of see if I can't get a few more people on board. And what I'd like to do today is I would like to just talk about a couple of things. Now, I've been paying a lot of attention to like Facebook dating groups and even the regular like Tinder and Plenty of Fish and all that kind of stuff. And I've been trying my best to come up with solutions for people because I understand how hard it is to date or to find a compatible match, right? I've been married for 20 years, but what most people don't realize is that that is my third marriage, right? I was divorced twice by the time I was 24 years old. My first wife left me when I got sent to Korea for a year, and my second wife left me when I got sent to Iraq for a year. So, it wasn't really my fault. It was just kind of a circumstantial. Nobody should be away from their spouse for that long. And so I can't blame either of my first wives for doing what they did. But it took me a while. I tell everybody it's kind of funny because, I was one of the first soldiers on ground in Iraq in 2003 when the war started. I mean, literally, I was there before they even started bombing the place. And I like to tell people that my war had nothing to do with the army or Iraq. My war didn't start until I got back home, and my second wife just happened to be German, and I was stationed in Germany. And man, I'm telling you, if you think it is complicated getting divorced in America, try getting divorced in a foreign country where you don't speak the language, you don't understand some of the culture. Like just as an example, it was mandatory for me to pay for a translator, even though I spoke decent German. Bottom line is their whole system is way more difficult, right? Because they really frown on divorce over there, so they make it very difficult and very expensive. Um, I've still got two daughters that live in Germany with my ex-wife, and they're in their mid-20s, getting ready to, they're basically adults, they so. But my point is that I understand heartbreak and I understand what it means to be alone, especially during the holiday season. I tell people that out of the 10 years that I spent in the Army, only about one of those years was spent stateside where I was actually able to enjoy Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff. Every other year was either, Korea or Kuwait or Iraq or Germany or, I mean, it was crazy. But I'm not trying to brag. I'm simply trying to express that I can absolutely understand where the majority of you are coming from. And I'm sure none of you really need a lecture, right? We've got entire groups out there. We got the Manosphere, we got Andrew Tate and, Richard Cooper pretending like they're teaching people how to be rich, you know. None of them are. I mean, it's all fake opera crap is what it is. But the point is that I truly understand where some of you are coming from. Now, what I don't understand and what I would actually like to help some of you fellas out with is trying to understand the world of dating. And I don't know if a lot of you understand the competition that is required in the dating world, but this is why things like sexual market value and this is where you hear all these gurus talking about you got to be a hundred, and there's some validity to this. I mean, I hate to tell people this, but as humans, we only attract what we are capable of attracting, right? Nobody is owed a relationship. Nobody is owed love. right? It's not just, and that's the thing that people don't seem to understand is that love is a competition. The entire thing, the entire process is a competition. You are competing with every other man out there. And in all honesty, you're competing with every other woman too. Right? But you are competing with every man out there. So you have to put yourself above the rest of them if you want positive results. Now, like I said, I was married for my third time by the time I was divorced twice by the time I was 24, but I was married my third time by the time I was 27. So I have legit been married for 20 years, and this is why I have the experience to talk about some of this stuff. Like, one of the biggest problems that I see online, especially in these Facebook groups, is these so-called experts, right, that are giving dating advice, but yet they're all single. Right? I mean, that's like a man trying to give a woman advice on how to give birth. I mean, it's words, right? It just doesn't make any sense to be taking advice. You know, I mean, God bless Richard Cooper. He seems like he's a badass dude. But he's not married. So why are you going to take advice from a lifelong bachelor who thinks that being an alpha male means he drives a Bugatti? Right? It's like, tell you that's the type of mentality. That's not real alphaness, right? That's fake alphaness. That's fake dominance, right? Now listen, I mean, there are some key things that these guys touch on that are always important things to remember, but at the base of it, it is a competition. Man, it's no different than playing a game of basketball with your best friend. Okay? Except in that game, the game is trying to get the ball into the hoop. But in the other game, the game is trying to get a woman. And it is the most extreme competition that a human can go through. So the point is that if you want to be the type of man that more women are attracted to, then you got to become that kind of man that more women are attracted to, right? You've got to do some work. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Complacency kills. It doesn't matter if we're talking about a military setting or if we're talking about a social setting, right? Complacency kills. In other words, you can't win if you don't play. It's that simple, guys. Some of you are expecting like the stars and the moon to just align perfectly and for love to just show up on your doorstep. That is not how it works. Okay? You have to go get it. And in order to get it, you have to be able to attract it. And if you can't do that, then why would you expect anyone else to do it for you? Right? I mean, it's I wish that I could give men a lesson in, basic things like, old-fashioned masculinity and that kind of stuff. Because here's the thing, guys, I'm completely different. I don't believe in chivalry, right? I don't believe in all that princess mentality crap. Okay? I am probably a true chauvinist. In all reality, I'm an old-fashioned dude. I live way ahead of my time, man. I'm like a, Crusades or something. That's my time where I belong. But I just happened to find a woman who had that same mentality. But I had enough to offer, even at 27 years old. I mean, we got together when I was 25, but even in that setting, right, being in a foreign country, going through a divorce with all that stuff that I was going through, plus having PTSD, I had a pretty serious case of PTSD when I came home from Iraq. So it was lucky for me that I could even find anything. And trust me, I traveled the entire world looking. I flew to countries, man. I flew to all over the place. I flew to, places like Russia, the Ukraine. I mean, I flew all over the place looking for love. I didn't care how much money it costed, and I didn't care where I had to go to find it. And, as luck would have it, I just happened to find a really good American girl. So I came back home to America. We got married. And we've been together ever since for 20 years, right? We got kids and businesses and all that stuff now. We're actually in retirement mode now. So we actually worked out so well that now we're able to kind of build our little empire and just retire. But that's the point, guys. You have to have something to offer. If you can't figure out what you have to offer on your own, why should anybody else have to figure it out for you? My point is, guys, you got to put yourselves out there. You got to do some work, man. If you're overweight, go to the gym, right? People question me about my beard style all the time, right? If you all notice, it's kind of unique. I really take a lot of pride in this. I have a unique beard because I have learned what makes my face look the best, right? Symmetrically. I've got a big scar that goes all the way across my chin. For all you can't see my teeth, right? I had my jaw broken when I was a kid. I got beat up really, really bad by a gang, and they jumped me, and they broke my jaw, they punctured my ear, they broke my nose, broke 3 of my ribs. I mean, it was a bad thing. I had to go to the hospital in the ambulance. But I have a scar that goes all the way across my chin, and so I'm very secure about that. Like especially in the Army, when you get a clean shave right every day, unless you're in the field or something. But I was always very self-conscious about that. But the problem is that my face is kind of chubby, so I don't look good with a full beard, and I also don't look that great with just a goatee. And so I came up with this style because I feel like it makes me look the best. And guys, this is what you've got to do too. Cut your hair. Cut it to a style that actually attracts people. Figure out your facial hair. Figure out the best look for you that makes you look symmetrically thinner, right? That's the whole point. This is why women, right? They say women wear specific dresses, right? And that's a fact. They know what makes them look better because male attraction is based off of physical attraction, right? Women don't necessarily need that. They're not looking for, Fabio guys. They're not looking for that. All they're looking for is just somebody who actually respects themselves enough to make themselves look good. And here comes the next point, guys. You've got to get off your asses. Man, you have got to get off of your asses. Again, I'm not trying to put anybody down here. That's not my purpose at all, man. I'm trying to build you guys up. But you have got to get motivated, man. You have got to get out there. Conquer this world. Make it your own. You've got to do these things. There's a reason why high-value men never have a hard time finding good women, right? There's a reason for this. And, there's a lot of gurus out there that'll say, show me your 3 best friends and I'll show you your future. And this is kind of the next thing that I would like to talk about, fellas, because if you don't have good associates in your life, in other words, you are who you hang out with. You are who you socialize with. So if you're hanging out in the bar and that's what your entire life revolves around, that is going to be the type of riffraff that you're going to attract. Now, it doesn't take a lot of common sense to understand that people are products of their environment, right? If you can take the girl, but you can't take the bar out of the girl. And this is what a lot of you just don't seem to understand is that you're looking for something in the wrong places. For starters, you're not putting yourself out into the universe. You're not even trying to let the universe know that you're there. You're hiding, you're being reclusive, you're being scared, you're being timid. All right, get out there, man. If you need socialization, go find a good church or go find a good fraternity, right? There's lots of fraternities out there, right? American Legion. I believe stuff, right? I'm a Freemason. I'm an American Legion. I'm a VFW guy. That stuff. And that's the thing. When you surround yourself with better men, right? You've got Elks Lodge. You've got Knights of Columbus. If you're Catholic, you've got all kinds of different groups that you can belong to and that can help you become better men. So do those things, man. Get out of your comfort zones. And guys, listen, man, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to degrade you. I'm not here to do any of that stuff. But I am here to tell you the truth. And the simple truth is that some of you need to wake up and pull your heads out of your asses. Okay, because love is not going to just show up on your doorstep. Love is not going to just ring the doorbell and say, "Hey, dude, I'm here." All right, guys, learn a style. Just get a style. You don't have to copy anybody else. I never have. Right? I am convinced that I created this style of beard. I've never seen any other man with this style. It's basically a reverse fade. And what it does is it makes my face look a little squarer so it doesn't look so chubby, right? But that's what I'm saying. Learn how to accentuate yourselves. Women have it easy. Women can put on a pound of makeup. Women can do their hair. Women can put on some sexy lingerie because men are sexual creatures, right? We are sexual. We're physical. That's what drives us. That's right. Every time we see something attractive, that's what drives our brain. But women also know how to manipulate, right? It's called the power of the, right? Women know how to manipulate, right? This is why they say women sleep with who they want to sleep with, men sleep with who they can sleep with, right? There's the difference. So, guys, you've got to understand this, man. Study some female psychology, learn how their brains operate a little bit, and then work on yourselves and figure out a way to make you more desirable, right? Figure out a way to put yourself above the competition because this is a competition. It is. And it's no different than playing a game of basketball with your buddy. One of you is going to win, but you can't win if you don't play. So if you're going to play, then do your best job and stop trying to do the bare minimum. Guys, this is the problem with our entire society, right? We become so lazy because life is so easy, right? You can cook a meal at the push of a button. Nobody's out there hunting. Nobody's out there, fighting wild tigers. So in other words, nobody's out there trying to survive. And it has created this laziness, especially amongst men. So anyway, guys, this is really all I wanted to talk about today. I really do want all of you to find happiness, and it's out there. It's out there if you're just brave enough to go get it. But for today, I digress. I'm still waiting to start a couple of interviews. This thing is going to get big. I'm telling you, this is going to be a very successful platform here as soon as I start getting some people to start doing some interviews. But please don't give up. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and please go to my Facebook group, and the link to that Facebook group will be in the description below. So please do that, and let's get you started on finding some real love and happiness. I'm telling you, a lot of it is going to do with you, not with them. Okay, a lot of it is going to do with you. Here's something I'm going to leave off with because I hear this all the time. So sexual market value, right? You've got to know your sexual market value. This goes for men and women, right? Because believe it or not, women's sexual market value is much more difficult to manage than a man's is. But guys, keep in mind that historically, only 30% of men ever reproduced. Okay, only 30%. Here again, we live in a time that's so easy. Back in the old days, men used to, they didn't live much past about 25 years old, right? 25, 30 years old, they were dead. Either through war or through work or through, getting killed by a tiger or something. So we live in a time now where everybody is looking for equality. So everybody thinks that they deserve a relationship or that they're owed a relationship. But that is not how it's worked historically, right? Historically, humans, only 30% of the male population ever reproduces. I think it's about 78% of women historically have always reproduced, and that's kind of the interesting thing about it. But that just goes to show you that, those top 30% of men they have enough to offer that women are willing to share them if it comes down to that, right? If survival is survival of the fittest type scenario, this is how we survived ice ages, right? One strong alpha male with a whole bunch of females. And I'm not saying that that's how anybody has to act today. I'm just saying that when you look at it from a competitive nature, it's very easy to understand why some of you are not finding love. And it's because you have nothing to offer. It's because you are so insecure and you're so, I guess, sheltered in this little bubble world that we live in that you don't understand the competition. That's what it is, guys. It is a competition. And I am here to try to help you all win it. I won my competition, man. I'm not the one out here competing. Okay, I'm not the one out here that's trying to take your guys' women from you. But I am here to help you if you want it. So please take a look at my Facebook group, and like I said, the link to it will be in the bottom description. Let me know what you all think, man. Let's start talking about this stuff. If somebody needs help, don't be afraid to hesitate to reach out. Come on my podcast. Let's talk about it. Let's share the story with the world. And let's see if we can find you some actual love. I mean, if you're willing to listen and if you're willing to do what I tell you to do, I can guarantee that I can find anybody love if you do what I tell you to do. But I don't expect that. But at the bare minimum, let's talk about it. Maybe we can help shed some light on each other's perceptions. So y'all take care. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and let's keep it going. Till next time, take care.